final alert's 100% solid, do you think that your dog, because it has that trained behavior, which is what a final alert is, will always give you that sit stare? Will they always give you, maybe your dog's an aggressive alert dog. Maybe your dog's passive. It'll do a sit stare. Is that behavior always going to be there? I've argued this point a few times on some forums. I've even done little articles on it. Had somebody reach out to me and said, hey, I had the pleasure of judging this lady at a competition. She said, hey, some of my students, we were talking about this. You posted some pictures. You talked about it. Can you share it to me? Absolutely. Originally, I posted this on a forum on Facebook that was created by my ex-wife. It was called All Things Scentwork. It's still there. It's still active. I still go on it. And I took a picture of the same dog, two different hides. One, he's doing a beautiful sit stare. One, his nose is just locked on the seam of the warmer in the kitchen. And that's what he's offering. So a final alert is no, it's not always going to be 100%. It is a trained behavior. Trained behaviors are not always 100%. There can be things environmentally that get in that dog's way. It can be something like an overhead, like a high overhead. The dog may jump back and forth when they're in odor, climb the wall. They may offer a whole lot of body language changes, things that you can actually see like a big red flag, but they may not ever go into that final sit stare. For instance, I put one deep in that closet. My dog's going to climb in there, go as close as he can, try to get his nose as close to source, but obviously he's not going to be in there and give me a beautiful sit stare. Now, if I put the 4 boxes out and just do like a 4-box protocol, obviously he's going to do a nice little sit stare. But there's going to be times where that is not there. Matter of fact, courts are recognizing that now, and they're saying, hey, the ability to read your dog is what matters. So I'm doing this short little video, and I'm going to post some pictures of my dog rather than sit here and waste all your time with a lot of videos of multiple scenarios, multiple hides, and you'll see how his behavior is. Matter of fact, in the background, if you see back there, we have two microwaves. We put an odor back there, bottom microwave. Just put one in here tonight to show you where we had it at. 2 different dogs. Mine stood on his hind leg, stuck its nose to the seam, and that's where he locked up. He didn't go into a sit stare. My buddy's dog that works this county jumped up on the counter, stuck his nose to it, but then attempted to try to open the door. Now that dog's a passive alert dog too. So 2 different dogs, 2 different behaviors, but neither one of them offered us that nice little sit stare. Now if we go around the room and you see other places where we hide, obviously where they're able to do it, they're going to do it, but it's not always going to be 100%. You know, you're going to get through your career, and there's going to come that time. And I had somebody try to argue with me at a scentwork event. It's 100%. It's 100%. No, it's not. It's a trained behavior. Just like stay. How many dogs are trained on a sit, stay? They go to obedience competition. They break their stay. It's not always going to be 100%. So you have to watch your dog. You have to learn how to read your dog. And another reason I did this video is I was asked by my training partner, he goes, hey, if you hadn't put that odor there yourself, would you have known your dog was an odor? Now, I can say this because I know this dog. Yes. And that's because of the method in which we train. We use a modification of a hairstyle training method. So the dog puts his nose as close to source. We mark it. I'm rewarding with the ball on a string dropped overhead, as close to odor as I can get, and then bringing him back in and tugging at odor. So the dog wants to get there. He wants that fight at source. He's going to get as close to odor as he can. So because I know my dog and I pay attention to my dog, I can tell you when he's in odor. He'll have a head snap. His breathing will change. He's pretty easy. I've had a couple dogs that really easy to read. Then, you see clients' dogs, you really have to watch them. But there's so many things that will distract you at a competition, and I see people not paying attention to their dog. And then they will sit there and question their dog's reliability. Folks, 9 times out of 10, if a mistake's going to happen, well, I'm going to take it back. Whether it's training related, handler skills, or misreading our dog, there's a reason we say trust your dog. The problem is usually on us, and we create that problem.
So let's look at the side-by-side comparison of these two photos. Same dog, same training day, different areas of building. Nice, beautiful sit stare when we see the stacked chairs. The dog is nice and close, nose is touching the chairs. Beautiful. Then we see the warmer in the kitchen. Now, that is, what you're not seeing is, that's a doorway as well, and it's kind of tucked away in the corner of the room, the entrance of the room. Odor's probably escaping a little bit differently. He doesn't offer that final alert, doesn't offer that sit stare, but he locks up that nose on the seam where odor's escaping. So that's why I said, that's just two different examples of this dog. He's not always going to give that sit stare, but he is going to do a few body language changes. His breathing changes. He gets a head snap. He locks that nose up on odor. He goes as close as he can. So with him, I actually have to watch him because he's not always going to 100% give me that sit stare. But that's what we say, folks. Watch your dog and learn to read your dog. Here's an overhead hide. Once again, you can see totally different body language. He doesn't give me a sit stare.
3 different odors, 3 different types of hides. One of them wasn't accessible really because there was stuff in his way. He couldn't go down to it. There was stuff all over the place. The other one, it was in a little tight corner. If you look back there, the odor escapes differently. He's never seen it. But the one thing he always does is he goes back to that foundational training and tries to get that nose as close to source as possible. So depending on if it's a high hide, if it's a level 1 hide, or, if it's level 1, he's probably going to go into a down. Level 3, he may give me the sit stare. But if it's higher than that, I've got to watch my dog. So check out these pictures. I will see you next week.